Thanks for clicking the play button today. I'm Jeff, and this is Backroads Tourist. We're going to be talking about cruising today. There are some interesting stories coming out of the cruising universe. Plus, I've noticed something unusual about some cruise activity on the stock market that nobody seems to be talking about. And we're going to end things with your daily dose of Daisy, where you'll get to see her guard dog skills. By the way, Daisy wanted me to thank you all for your birthday wishes. We celebrated her sweet 16th birthday by driving to Dairy Queen and getting her a pup cup, which she thoroughly enjoyed. She also had steak for dinner, but because she doesn't have that many teeth, it had to be chopped up into small pieces. So thanks again. She and I both appreciate it. But let me kick things off by saying that Joe is back. Joe Rhodes is a terrific writer and has a Substack called Unmoored. If you're still interested in that soap opera, you may want to take a look at it. You won't be disappointed. I'll leave a link to it in the description of this video. Well, my friends, it looks as though there's going to be a special election to vote on cruise limits in Sitka, Alaska. Now, if passed, this proposal would cap the total number of cruise visitors to 4,500 per day and 300,000 per year. That's about half the number of current visitors. It would also mandate that there would be at least one day a week without any cruise ship calls. The petition was certified on Thursday, March 13th, and the special election must be held within the following 40 to 90 days. So far, May 30th has been assigned as the tentative date for the election. If the limits are voted in, they would take effect sometime in 2026. Norwegian Cruise Lines has taken possession of their first Prima Plus cruise ship, the Norwegian Aqua. The Aqua is a little bit different from her sister ships, the Norwegian Prima and Norwegian Viva. The Aqua is about 10% larger, coming in at 1,056 feet and can handle 3,571 guests. The Aqua is going to feature the Aqua Slide Coaster, which is sort of a cross between a roller coaster and a water slide, featuring two tracks that wrap around the ship's funnel and span the top 3 decks of the ship. There's also going to be a glow court if you're into sports. It's going to have an interactive LED floor. Plus, the Aqua Game Zone will have a plethora of video games and virtual reality simulators. Norwegian has another new ship coming out next year. The Norwegian Luna is scheduled for delivery in the spring of 2026. I own stock in both Norwegian and Carnival Cruise Lines, and I've noticed something unusual in the past few weeks that I want to talk about, and that's coming up. But first, I received an email at backroadstourist6@gmail.com that said, "Jeff, I've heard you talking about casino offers that you've been getting from Princess Cruise Lines. Could you elaborate a bit more on that and tell us if these offers are really any good?" Yes, I'll be happy to do that. In fact, I'll do a video on that next week and break it down for you and then let you know what I think and give you some numbers too. Thanks for the idea. I appreciate it. If you don't want to miss out on that video, then you may want to subscribe to the Backroads Tourist channel. That way, you're going to be among the first to know when new videos are uploaded. And if you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up, that would be great. Giving it a like or a thumbs up helps the overlords at YouTube decide to recommend this video to others. So please, give it a like if you feel so inclined. Well, the stock market has been interesting lately, hasn't it? Yeah. Pretty much all stocks have taken a hit, and cruise stocks are no exception. Now, I gotta do my disclaimer right now. I own cruise stock, but I am not going to advise you to buy or sell anything. I'm just going to point out something interesting that I've noticed. Do your own research. Remember, there's always risks. So, I've owned both Norwegian and Carnival Cruise Line stock for years. I snapped some up right after the shutdown in 2020 when the prices were really rock bottom. One of the reasons I bought stock in these two companies is because if you own 100 shares or more, you get cruise credit when you sail with them. The amount varies depending on the length of your cruise, but it's usually $100, and that's a nice perk. Well, as far back as I can remember, Norwegian Cruise Line stock has always been higher priced than Carnival Cruise Lines. Usually a share has been about $1.50 higher than Carnival, but that's changed in the last few weeks. At one point, Norwegian was priced at about $1.50 lower than Carnival. As of right now, as I'm writing this, Carnival stock is at $19.92 and Norwegian is at $19.20. So there's a 72-cent per share difference. I don't know if things are going to go back to the way they were with Norwegian pulling ahead of Carnival again, or if this is the new way that it's going to be with Carnival being the leader. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Royal Caribbean stock is still way out in front by a long shot. Right now, it's at $212.66 per share. In April of 2020, you could have bought it for just under $25 per share. Royal Caribbean is also paying dividends of 75 cents per share per quarter. And yes, Royal Caribbean also offers onboard credit if you have 100 or more shares. Again, remember, I'm not telling you to invest or not to invest. There's always a risk. That's up to you. Do your own research, make your own decisions. Before we get to our daily dose of Daisy, let's go back up to Alaska, where an Alaskan senator is declaring war on Canada. Well, okay, maybe I'm being a little bit dramatic there, but here's what's happening. Alaska Senator Dan Sullivan is ramping up the U.S. trade war with Canada, but it wasn't unprovoked. Canada threatened that commercial trucks traveling through British Columbia from Washington to Alaska may be forced to pay new fees. So Sullivan is looking to get rid of the Passenger Vessel Services Act of 1886, which is similar to the Jones Act, otherwise known as the Merchant Marine Act, that requires foreign-flagged vessels from transporting passengers between two U.S. ports without stopping at a foreign port. So if these restrictions were removed, cruise ships visiting Alaska would not have to stop in Canadian ports like Victoria, Vancouver, or Prince Rupert. That would lead to a major loss of revenue for those communities if cruise lines decided to go elsewhere. Right now, it appears as though it's all just saber-rattling, but it is something that I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on. How do you feel about this? Would you mind skipping Canadian ports? Now, to be honest, the times that we've sailed to Alaska and had to visit Victoria were underwhelming. The ship arrived in the evening and only stayed for a few hours, just enough to fill the requirement. Now, we also did visit Prince Rupert, and that was okay, but it's really not a port that I would be excited to visit again. It's time for your daily dose of Daisy. A few years ago, we had some intruders in our backyard, and Daisy sure let us know about it. So Daisy is going crazy about something. What is it? What's outside? What do you see? We have turkeys in our backyard. Hey, thanks again for watching today. I'm Jeff, and I hope to see you on a future cruise.